but it needs looking after. And by looking after it, we get the 7 streams: the landscape, archaeology, history, the music, wildlife, food and drink, jobs. If we don't, we lose it.
Eco-Beo is something we set up a good few years ago as a way of informing and enthusing young people at the Burren about their place, their very special place. And the whole idea behind it, I guess, is to tap in to the enthusiasm that these children have for the place and to create a sense of pride and ownership of the Burren amongst these kids, and arising out of that a sense of responsibility for looking after the place into the future as well, because we see the young people in this classroom and the other classrooms as the guardians of the future of the landscape, and the best way to equip them to be effective guardians is to give them the information and the enthusiasm that will allow them to do that.
Here, this is kind of like a top of a mountain. You find a big pile of stone.
Eco-Beo is a 20-week course which takes place in different schools across the Burren. Every fortnight a different expert comes in and shares his or her knowledge of a particular theme. Those themes would be geology, archaeology, history, flora, fauna, culture, community, conservation, things like that. And in the intervening weeks the children do a little assignment, a revisionary assignment on that particular theme. Then at the end of the formal part, the classroom part of the course, the children are taken on a full day trip out into the Burren, meeting the people, seeing the places, exploring the monuments, having a great time and putting their knowledge into practice. The Burren is Ireland's greatest outdoor classroom. It's got everything in terms of the geology, all the geological features are out there, the archaeology, the history, the flora, the fauna. It's an incredible place to go and immerse yourself in a place, a very special place obviously, but it's a great place to learn about what aspects go into creating your own space, your own area, your own locality. So what we really want to do in the Burren is to create a sense of connection with your place. Now your place could be your community, it could be your country, it could be your planet, but to connect people with the issues that affect their place and to make them effective guardians of their own places as well.
We've been learning about the geology and all the underground caves and the stories about the Burren and all the folklore.
All the varieties of the fauna and about the glacier.
And how rain wears away the limestone.
I loved when we went for the little walk and we got to capture little insects and then we had to put them back again. I really like that.
It's a beautiful place, really. It's all of the limestone in it, and then the plants, everything. It's just a very beautiful place. Like I remember when visiting it with our class, if you look from the heights, like all of the mountains, limestone, it all looks beautiful together. It's just really unique in a way.
And finally, the celebratory event is a graduation at the end of the course, whereby the children and the parents come together and we have a bumper quiz all about the Burren, where the kids can show off their knowledge, their newfound knowledge of the landscape, and where they can present projects which they've done on the Burren. And in a sense, by doing a project, they are teaching themselves, they're imparting information. So they're getting the sense of pride and ownership of the conservation agenda, if you like, and sharing it with their parents and with their friends and with other schools across the Burren. And arising out of all of that very intensive 20-week process, they finally become Burren experts. And they take over from the so-called experts in the classroom, and they become the future guardians of the Burren as a landscape.
Well, I think the very title of the programme, Eco-Beo, is in itself very revealing of what this whole learning exercise is about. And Burren-Beo, the organisation that has allowed this to be possible, really is to be commended. Young people are naturally in favour of saving the earth and saving the environment, but it's always about saving something that's over there. If it's place-based, if it's your local place that you've been born into, that you've grown up in, over there suddenly comes to here. And I think learning from the landscape for young people is something that has a great potential and a great value. And I as Minister for Education, I think it's an additional, if you like, more than teaching aid, it's an additional educational environment in its own right.